Hi, what I'd like to show you today is an example of how to get Microsoft Dynamics CRM information, such as contact details, to be available in SharePoint in an external list using BCS. So as an example, taking a contact like Tony, being able to go and edit information about Tony in the context of SharePoint, like adding a telephone number. So we'll give Tony here a number. Save that. And we'll see that when this list refreshes, Tony now has a telephone number. If we go back to CRM and search for Tony, we'll see we can open up Tony and see that he now has a telephone number of the one that we entered. The way we're going to go about doing this integration is using K2 SmartObjects and surfacing those SmartObjects as WCF endpoints, and then being able to create the SharePoint BCS entity and external list in SharePoint. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we do that. The first thing we need to do is create our SmartObject. In our SmartObject service tester, we can see that one of the out-of-the-box components that K2 ships with is an ability to connect into CRM and expose the various entities that are available within CRM. For our example, we're going to use contact, so I'll go ahead and select contact, and you'll see there are a lot of properties associated with contact. We'll be creating an object that takes a subset of these available properties and making them available in the SmartObject. You also see that the methods get, list, load, create, update, and delete are also surfaced for this object. So we're going to go ahead and right-click on this entity and create a K2 SmartObject for it. We'll just go ahead and call this contact demo. And there are a whole bunch of properties again exposed in this contact object, and we're going to go ahead and remove a couple. Okay, now we've whittled it down to just the bare essentials of the contact that we want to surface. I'm going to show the city, the state, the business phone, contact, which is the auto GUID, which is the system ID, the email, first name, last name, and then the owner in CRM of the contact. And then we'll keep all the existing methods, and we'll go ahead and publish this SmartObject. Once that SmartObject has been created, we can go ahead, go back to the tester, and verify that our contact SmartObject is working properly by just testing the methods. So there we got a list, and we can see all the different contacts that are available. Now that we have the SmartObject, one of the K2 capabilities is to surface this SmartObject as a WCF endpoint. Once it's surfaced as a WCF endpoint, then it becomes a generic way to interface with that object, such as using something like BCS. So let's go ahead and see how we can take this contact demo SmartObject and make it a WCF endpoint. To do this, going into the K2 Black Pearl host server bin directory, the K2 hostserver.config file contains the configuration for the entities that we want to surface. So we'll go ahead and open that up in Notepad, and we'll go down to the managed endpoint sections, and we can see that we can define these. We can either define that we surface all SmartObjects as endpoints, or we can add additional static endpoints. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this last one here and just copy it. And then we'll go ahead and just make some changes here to specify our contact. And we'll call it contact demo. So we're taking the category default, the SmartObject name contact demo, surfacing it as contact demo, and we're going to use the WS HTTP binding and a single isolation level. So once we go ahead and make that change, make sure that everything is correct, we can save that file, close it, and then just to make sure that it becomes available, we recycle the K2 Black Pearl service. And in a couple of moments, we should see that this new SmartObject becomes available at this endpoint. So the endpoint will automatically get created by K2 because of that configuration entry that we made. And there we can see that the WCF endpoint is now available at Contact Demo Service, and we have the URL to the WSDL, and we can go ahead and take that, and we'll be using that in just a moment in SharePoint Designer. So this endpoint is automatically generated for us. So now to be able to take this, we can go into SharePoint Designer and go to our external content type section for our site, and go ahead and create a new external content type. We'll give this a name of Contact Demo. And then we need to specify the external data source that we're going to use. A couple of other ones here, but I'm going to add our new one. We'll select the type of WCF service, and then we need to provide that URL as well as the endpoint URL, and we can give it a name and click OK. It will now go and discover all the methods available for that service. And there we can see our contact demo is now available. You see the methods have been surfaced here, and for each one of these methods we need to create a new item operation. So we'll see that the first one is create, so we're going to make a new create operation. And we just follow through the wizard, specify our contact ID as being the identifier, and then we need to do the same thing for delete. The get list method will go to the read list operation. Load will go to read item. And once we've mapped all the methods to the operations, we can go ahead and go back to our content type. And you'll see that the fields have been brought in, and the types. We'll go ahead and create our list. Go ahead and give the list a name. And click OK. Now that our list has been created, let's go back to our SharePoint site. Should be able to see the new list available for us. And there's all the details. And we could obviously change the view to sort these differently, but there are all the details of the contacts. And we can go ahead, as we did before, and edit this item. Maybe change Tony's phone number. see that reflected in the SharePoint list as well as in CRM. And that concludes the demo. We've taken information from Dynamics CRM into a K2 SmartObject, exposed it as a WCF endpoint, and surfaced it in SharePoint as an external content type list.